Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute ghost pattern brush, and as a bonus, I'll show you how you can turn any of your already finished patterns into a new pattern brush. This cute little ghost is the motif that I'm going to use to make my pattern brush. You can use whatever you want. It's going to be a simple pattern and a simple pattern brush, just with the cute ghost and the writing. You'll notice that I only put the writing here and here. I didn't put it at the top and at the other side. That's because when we duplicate it later and we move the pieces, if we have them in all four sides, you will notice that there are duplicates in places. So it's best just to have it on two sides. Of course, I have it in a square canvas as usual. I'm going to group these two layers and keep them as my originals and duplicate. I'll turn the bottom layer off and keep that in case I make a mistake or I want to change something later. This one, I'm going to flatten it, make a new layer, and now we have the writing and the cute ghost on one layer. We will need to duplicate this 4 times. If we duplicate it now, the only part of the canvas that it's going to duplicate is this part here. It will not duplicate the entire canvas. There are different ways to fix this so that it copies the entire canvas. I'm going to show you the way that I use the most. I'll create a new layer above. You can choose any color. I'll get red, and then get a brush. Okay, make sure you're on the right layer, and I'm going to make marks. Make that bigger in all 4 corners. Okay. This way, when we duplicate the layer, it will copy the entire canvas because there is something on all 4 edges. Okay. I'm going to group these and duplicate it 4 times, always duplicating the original. I'm going to turn off the bottom one. I always like to have an extra just in case. Now we're going to move each of these groups into a different corner. We'll tap on the arrow, make sure snapping and magnetics is on. I like to turn the other layers off because it makes it easier to see what you're doing. So tap the arrow and move it to the top corner. Okay, when you see those yellow lines, going across up there, you know that it's in the right place. Turn on the next layer, tap the arrow, and move to the bottom corner. Okay, you see the yellow lines, it's done. Turn on the next layer, tap the arrow, it's in place, and the last one. Arrow and to the bottom corner. Okay, perfect. We can take these 4 layers, group them, flatten them, and now we have these red marks here that we can use the selection tool on freehand. Okay, arrow, and just move it off the canvas, and it's gone. Okay, now we have this space here. I'm going to turn this one back on. We can delete this layer with the red marks, and I think I'm going to remove the writing from here. I think it will be too much. Select tool again and remove it off the canvas. Now I'm going to take the little ghost and flip horizontal and move him over to the center. Now we can group these 2 layers and flatten. Now we're going to duplicate this again 4 times, always duplicating from the original. Turn off the bottom one and turn off these ones too. Okay, this time we're not going to just move them into the corners, we're going to make them smaller. Tap the arrow and the little blue dot here and move it to the top. and it snaps into place, and we'll go to the next one. Arrow, blue dot, and there. The next one. And the last one. Okay. And there's the pattern. I think it looks really cute. We can group these layers and flatten. Now I think that I'm going to move some of these just to make them a little bit more in the center. So I'll use the selection tool on freehand and just move it a little bit. This one too. And this one. Okay, let's duplicate it another 4 times and see how it looks. Okay, I think it looks great. Now you can see here that some of the words look a little bit close to the ghost. If you don't like how it looks and you think it's too close, you can go back to the original and start the process again. You can make the changes. Maybe the writing should have been a little bit further to the left of the ghost, but I think it looks fine. I think it's good that it's not all exactly perfect. So I'm going to leave it. I will group these layers and flatten. And this is going to be my pattern brush. So you can save it as a PNG, or you can turn off the background layer, go to the layer, tap invert, 3-finger swipe, copy all, and now go to the brush set, tap on the plus sign, we'll go to grain, edit, import, and paste. Now it's already white because we inverted it before. Tap done. Okay, you can see we have our pattern there. First thing we'll do is we'll go to properties and increase the maximum size. Then we'll go back to grain. The shape for pattern brushes, the shape is not really important. So I normally leave it on the default shape. Go to grain. You can increase the scale and decrease the zoom. Let's clear the drawing pad. Okay. The important thing about pattern brushes is that in the grain, you go to offset jitter. By default, this is turned on. What this means is when you brush your pattern on and then you take off your pen and then you put it back on, it will start again, which means that it won't be seamless. You'll have 2 layers. So you need to turn the offset jitter off. So when you paint with your brush, you can take it off and then you put it back down again. It continues with the pattern. Okay, let's see how it looks on the canvas. Tap done. Turn the background layer on. Turn this off. Make a new layer. Test it out. Okay, let's increase the size a little bit. Okay, I think that I'm going to play with the zoom and scale a little. I'm going to increase the scale and the zoom. And let's try again. I want the settings so that when I increase the brush size, the size of the image increases too. Now it's small. Increase the brush size and the ghosts get bigger. think that's a good size. For this to work, normally you need the scale to be higher than the zoom. Okay, but you can play around with that and see what works best for you. I'm going to look at rendering. The default setting is intense glaze. I think this looks okay, but I'm going to try the other ones. I like this. I like light glaze. Let's see how it looks. I think you can see his eyes better, so I'm going to leave it on light glaze, but I suggest that you try the different modes and see what works best for you. Okay, go to Apple Pencil. Okay, the default setting for the opacity is at max. If you leave it here, more pressure will give you a more opaque look, and less pressure will be less opaque. I'm going to turn it off because it's not necessary. In properties, I'll increase the preview size a little, and there is our first pattern brush. As a bonus, I'm going to show you how you can use one of your already made patterns and turn it into a pattern brush. Here is my pumpkin pattern that I've already made. Make sure you're on the right layer. Here's my pattern layer. Go to the magic wand, gradient map. Now my setting is already on gradient because I use it a lot, but the default setting might be different. So take a look at the gradient library and make sure it's on gradient. Done. Magic wand again. I like how it looks like this because we have different shades of gray and white. If you want parts to be darker or lighter, you can go to hue, saturation, brightness and play around with it. You can make it darker, therefore it's completely solid black, and then you can invert it later. I'm going to leave it the way it was. I'm going to turn the background off, 3-finger swipe, copy all, go to the brush library. I'm going to duplicate this ghost brush that we made before. Tap, go to grain, edit, import, and paste. Tap done. Okay. And there we have our pattern. Again, you can go to rendering and play with the different modes. That's not good. I'm going to leave it on light glaze. Let's see how it looks on the canvas. Turn the background on, turn that off. Maybe we'll get an orange. Okay, I like that, I like that. You'll notice because we use light glaze, if you go over it again, the color will get deeper. Now you should have 2 pattern brushes, and as always, make sure you remember to go into about this brush, add the name of the brush, your photo or logo, your name, and create a new reset point.